Okay, guys, this is my last session about OpenAI. I will be creating more sessions on OpenAI in other things, but I thought like this is a journey of OpenAI, how to get started with this. So it's a kind of beginner kind of concept, but from Azure perspective, I expect that you must have some kind of knowledge on Azure, right? Because the things which I'll be sharing you, if you don't have knowledge on Azure, you might be lost. That is my things and all. Okay. So I'm Microsoft alumni because when you join Microsoft, you have to give up your alumni things, but I don't matter for me. Learning and sharing is a key for me. So I'm very passionate to learn and also share with the others. Um, but I work only with Microsoft technologies. From started my career with SharePoint, then with a lot of Office 365 components, and then Power Platform and Azure now. So it's my journey start with SharePoint. So I'm very passionate about SharePoint and Azure technologies. Okay, now again, as we discussed, that we'll be working on the lot of things, but now a lot of people have not seen the things, so I'll be sharing about the recap. At least you have seen what I have covered. And also after the sessions, I'll be sharing it my LinkedIn. I also shared my LinkedIn handle as well, so that you can contact me if you need some questions. Okay, so we first focus on the recap, right? What we have covered in last two sessions, very briefly, because I have a couple of things to cover in today's sessions. Today's session, we work on the fine tuning. Many people have contacted me that Aroh, why we need fine tuning. So I will give all the things because you need to have, but I will tell you about when you should use fine tuning. Then the first thing, very important stuff for any cloud things, how to secure. So we will working on the how we can secure your OpenAI service, which is mostly open, and then we can make it secure. There's some different options. And something about Azure AI Content Safety. So it's not about OpenAI, it's something more generic, responsible AI, those kind of things we'll talk about. And also, I was sharing about how you can learn about the Azure OpenAI services and all. Both I was sharing the free resources and also some paid sources, which you can, if you want to get more knowledge. Okay, that is a recap what we're doing working on. So this is the last session about how we can having refine the models, use those models into in your use cases. We use some demo applications, and if you want to learn more applications, I've give the some sources which I use a lot. We work on that. Okay, now before that, a recap. So in the first session on 10 October, I work on the what is ChatGPT. That we also covered a lot of things about the OpenAI and how what is the difference between the Azure and OpenAI, and a lot of things we discuss. I want to just tell you that OpenAI is keep on improving. So that slide deck which I created maybe outdated. Okay, so every 2-3 months or every month, OpenAI is also having a lot of services. So we will work on that. We have seen that one. I also work on the different terminologies and then the ChatGPT things. So OpenAI and the open. Then about ChatGPT plans and some demos, we work on that. So those were something which I in this slide deck. I will share everything after this today's sessions. I will share all the slide deck and also videos resources, which thanks to Pune community, they shared all the things. So I will share all the things except today's session. Maybe it's take 2-3 days, but all the things will be ready for you by next few days. In the other session in last month, we covered about how we can use the OpenAI services. A lot of questions are about how we can access and also those things we discussed. I also shared about the different kind of different models we use in terms of cost and which is the best way to use it. We also shared about some use cases scenario. We also discussed about the pricing and quotas. So this is something which you can see in the slide deck and also video on that. And in today's session, again, in the I won't say last session, but something we've been improving a lot. New sessions I will adding about recapping about the fine tuning and security part. This is something very crucial when you're working on the Azure side. How we can make more responsible content. Okay. Now, let's go and search for the fine tuning. Now, when the OpenAI and Azure OpenAI start working, a lot of people ask me, I think in June or July time, that in the community and also in a lot of forums, they asked in the forums and also asked me that why we need fine tuning, and that is what is the purpose of fine tuning. So I keep telling that. Fine tuning is only for spatial use cases, right? What spatial use cases are is when you want to have control your specific domain content. Okay, example, I'm working in example, I'm working in a healthcare society. People are working in on the financial sector. Few people are working into audit companies, right? So they doesn't want to have the share data which is publicly available, right? They want to secure data somewhere. So that is a use where they want to have your own data, right? And that data should be big data. I mean, big data, I mean, not the big data. Big data means the large content you want to, a lot of training required for that. So only in that context, it will be help you, right? And it's also helped to create some chatbots with that. Obviously, it's a use cases of that. But when we work on a very highly sensitive data, which is not publicly available, and you have large data, really large data, then obviously the fine tuning can be useful and have give added value for you for the organizations. Okay. Now, example, okay, I have only few MBs of data. Can I train it? You can, but it's very costly, right? So I will talk about cost perspective later on. But if you have some GBs of data or terabyte of data, it may be more useful because you have to train, and training is very costly as well. So fine tuning is good, but if you have the large budget, like companies like Amazon or very large organizations, where if you have 10,000, 15,000 users, it may make more sense. Small companies maybe not very useful. Okay, so fine tune or not to fine tune? That is a question we're talking about. First thing, you want to use fine tune. There's three use cases, right? First is the new skill, right? Now I give a very simple. Now everyone knows about Bloomberg, right? Very large organizations. They mostly target on the financial data, and so they make the own chat GPT kind of thing called as a Bloomberg GPT, and they have, that data is coming from all the regions, different countries, different things, so they make their own thing. Why? Because they know that data is sensitive. Also, it's mostly for the finance thing, right? So anything which is to new skill required, more prompts required, then it's good to have that particular skill set in the fine tuning perspective. Okay. Second thing is, if you want to use okay, where is my, yeah, if you want to have teach a model with some examples. Now, you must have seen about ChatGPT, and if you have very lot of examples, that's good. But not of people don't have time. So if you can give some examples, it make more again something at a fine tuning you can do. So that is something which a large model can help you. If you have a large big data sets, you can do it. Okay, with give some examples. And third is reduce the latency. Now, Aroh, what I mean latency? Latency means that if you have a lot of big prompts, right, it will take some time, right? Now, if you have something about healthcare or financing about Bloomberg, so they already have some set of data which is not trained, so that you can reduce that prompts, right? So I have some financial data which is into or healthcare data. I want to have prompts to be quickly be used, right? So obviously I have to use fine tune for this. Okay, so these are the some use cases which we can work with that. So this is the maybe again OpenAI and and Azure OpenAI, they keep on improving. So what I'm sharing this skill set maybe outdated maybe in start couple of months. Okay. One thing to understand that Azure OpenAI have embedded this fine tuning, and you can have your own fine tuning services, right? You can use in your Azure OpenAI and also using machine learning as well. That's a good thing, right? Now, what kind of models we can use it? Can we use all the models? The answer is no. You have to use a specific models, which is like Babbage, DaVinci, and GPT-3, 3.5, right? Now, it depends on the use cases, right? If they have smaller use cases, cheaper cost you want to have and in the completion, then it make more sense. Okay, so example, I want to have some data from SharePoint or from my Azure Blob Storage. I want to have some completion things, then it's very useful, right? However, if you want to have a chat GPT, have questions and answer, then obviously DaVinci and Babbage won't be yet very useful. Then we have to rely on the GPT-3 3.5 Turbo. One thing is very costly, right? So if you want to have fine tuning, you can, but bear the mind is very costly of exercise. Okay. Again, let's do the cost analysis, right? Again, we know that Azure is a managed services. Everything is managed by Microsoft, and you are paying for two things. One is the training. You have to train your thing. Example, I have financial data. I am working in a bank, and I have large data, so I have to train that data. So that training data will be the cost will be in this way. And you know that bankings and the financial segments are have big bucks they can pay for that. So you can go for per hour things, and this is pretty costly, right? If you think about as individual, maybe you can be bankrupt within a month, right? So it's the only large organization can afford it, right? Now that is the training only, right? The second is hosting, right? So you have to host. So our hosting will be always in Azure, and depends on the number of hours and all on the hourly rate. It will be now it looks very cheap rate, but if you do in a hourly or monthly, it can reach to thousands or 100,000 or it could be a million as well. So I will highly recommend. Please use it as a caution. It will be very costly affair if you want to do it. Okay, now I talk about cost why. I just want to share how we can do it. Then we work on the demo. So I have four demos, and we work on the fine tuning. We talk about how to do security, and we also talk about the safety part, right? And the last will be how we can expand your skill set in your Azure OpenAI. So all four things we talk about. Today's demos are four demos. First demos is fine tuning. So what we will see, we'll see the how to prepare a data set. Now I mentioned that data set could be large data set. The only thing to catch is that it's using something called as a JSON language. So JSON language is can use only with that particular format. It can't accept any other formats for the fine tuning perspective. Okay. Second thing is about you can use your custom GPU models using custom models. So we will see how we can do it. But once we have wrote our custom models about healthcare or financial things, then you can push it, right? That's something. So then you have to load your data set. Okay. And then you have to train it. So I mentioned about training and hosting. So here, once you have done the training, then you can train your new GPT um, model, right? Could be finance, could be medical, could be healthcare, could be audit, anything you can train. And the last part, you have to deploy it, right? To deploy, where we deploy, you deploy into Azure OpenAI service, and then we can use this particular service into OpenAI Studio. So this is something which we can do in terms of the designing, the fine tuning process. And then I will give some resources because these are I found it that this is our very good resources if you are new to the OpenAI service and fine tuning. I these are the, I took a lot of time to find it out, and I found that few things are very bad content, few are very good. So though these things are very, very good content, I read and then I just been sharing you that these are very good content through which you can do rather than you waste your time. I can, these are the best content which I found so far, and these are keep changing. So take note of that. Okay. It's a costly exercise. That's what take. Now let's see how we can do the fine tuning, and then we can upload and content and also let's see how this particular process can work. Okay, so let me uh, close this my okay, where is the my PPT? Okay. Second, I just discard it and let me share with the content which I have for you. Okay, so we work on the fine tuning part. That is something which we will work on this today. And I have created some samples, and I will share the samples with you as a GitHub repository. You can access that content later on, right? Now, first thing first, we have to create a sample data, right? So sample data which I have created is here. So this is some sample data. Okay, now what I will do, I'm using ChatGPT also, right? So I want to create, you are an GPT expert and you want to have some custom data set as a sentiment data, and you have to create some content, which is 50 lines, and the content should be in the JSON-L format, and each will be having prompt and completions, right? I mentioned to you that for the fine tuning, you have to use the JSON-L format and completion part. So what I will do, I click on the my ChatGPT. I will just go here and create this content, right? Okay, I'm using ChatGPT also here. Right, you want to do that, and let's click on that. Okay, now what is happening right here is that it's creating some random prompts, right? And these prompts will be used in the agent JSON format and this JSON-L format, and then we can upload that content into our OpenAI services. Okay, so it takes some time. So I just want to don't waste our time. I show you what the content it will be, and this is the content which I copied as a JSON in format, and I will just open for you. This is sample data. I can't smile, something positive, some negative things and all, something which we can do. So step one, create a sample data in ChatGPT, push it into your local file, and then step will be we'll work on the uploading the content. Okay, so that is something which we work together, right? Now, I'll let me go to the my content, right? I have a again, I have couple of services. I want to show you that how it can be used. Okay. In my previous demos, I mentioned that you must have a Azure OpenAI service. It's not free. It's you have to search for test and all. So because I have worked with a couple of users, so I can just work on that. And if you see here, I have a OpenAI service. You see here, OpenAI services, and I have created couple of services, right, for myself, right? So I created a demo on the doll E. It can work only into East US. I have a demo in another demos and all. So let's work on this particular part. Let's create here. Okay. And so this is a complete new instance, right? It's a complete different instance, which I want to do fine tuning, right? Now, there are a couple of options I can go for. I can go manage my usage, develop applications, explore and deploy. And this is something new, which I have done, build internal APIs. So I click on this Azure OpenAI Studio. And what I want to do, I want to have fine tuning in my models, right? Because I want to fine tune models. It doesn't work and all that, then we can see. So Here I'm using Power Platform SGP this model, and I want to use a model here. Okay, so that's something. Now you can see there's few things. I create a custom model because we have to upload that content, the sentiment JSON-L file. I have to upload somewhere, so I have to upload this model here. Now you will find this errors is because OpenAI has not opened to all the regions, right? Now, if you see my region, is the is US, right? So it doesn't work in that model doesn't work. The custom fine-tuning model doesn't work in the East US. So what I have to do, I have to create a new instance of Azure OpenAI because I want to leverage my Azure OpenAI fine-tuning model, right? So this is something you have to take note. Lot of services are in preview. Few are already ready-made, but you see that few models, few regions don't have it. So what I can do, I can just create a new model. I can create a new instance. Okay, and I click here, and I will create a new model, which is called as Aroh. And then I know that East US doesn't have it, so I can go to other regions. And I know that one region always works in the fine tuning, which is called as Western Europe. Okay, so I just put it here. I just put the names of that. Azure fine tuning. Okay, pricing should be there. Yeah, okay, spelling mistake here. And then I can just add to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is. Okay, and then click on that. Okay, I can do all my other services, right? Click on next, next, just like normal services which you do in Azure. Okay, I click on next, and then it will take a new region, which is called as West Europe. Right now, I've already created to save our time. So I've already created an instance which is in Western Europe, right? So I just click on that. Okay, Western Europe. So I already did it because I want to showcase how we can. I shown to the errors you get, not the errors. Regions are not supported. So in this particular Western Europe, I have something which is I can leverage, right? So Western Europe, so you have to just understand at times we have to check which regions have content. The fine tuning is possible there. Okay, so now I have worked on the Western Europe region, and my end goal is to do the fine tuning, right? So I go to models, okay, and then in this model I will upload a new custom model. You see, there's no error here. So there's no error. Click on ADA. I mentioned there again, there are different models you can go for. You can go to ADA, Babbage, Curie. So fine tuning, I mentioned to you, you can't train ChatGPT, right? Because it's already LLM is a huge, there's just no issue with that. But if you want to have customized, then you can do. But you can just, you can see now in your own eyes that it has only the base model, which is lower. There's no DaVinci here. Okay. So maybe I want to do ADA, and I will just want to have that model called as sentiment. Okay. I click on next. Okay, and then again people can ask me questions. Okay, Aroh, what about I have large data, right? You can have large data, but the format should be in the JSON format. Okay, you can upload into blob storage, no matter issues. So I want to tell you the challenges. Challenges is that you can have your own data, which I'm going to show you now, but if in case you have a very large data set, you have to use this JSON format, and then the limitation is only less than 100 MB you can upload. Okay, in my use case, it's a not very high data. It's very simple data. So I click on browse. Okay, and this is my sentiment data, which I just loaded, and I click on open. Already there, and then I click next. Now it takes at least half an hour or 1 hour to do the training data. I did a lot of things yesterday so that we save our time. So I already trained this data model and is using the base format is ADA and is already successful. It took me around 30 minutes to 1 hour because I'm watching a TV, watch a match yesterday, watching a match, so I didn't see the full thing, but it took around 45 minutes to 1 hour to train the data. Okay, so this is the use case that you have some data, you can just use it using ADA, Curie, or Babbage models. So this is the way we now, how we can use it, that is something is very important, right? Because I want to use in my applications. I can use in my Power Platform. I can use in my Azure. All things we can do. No issue with that. What I can do here, I can just click on my completions. I click on completions. Okay. Okay. Yeah, sentiments with there, right? Now, I just want to share you that so what the content has. You see, the content is I can't stop smiling, so it's positive feedback. My heart is filled with joy. I can put these things. So this is all the content. Now, what I can do, just want to test purposes, I am super happy today. Now, this is not a very good use case, but at least you get the just at how the fine tuning can utilize. You can utilize. Okay, you see all positive things. My mind is okay, right? So now that's good. Now I say I'm very sad. India lost the World Cup. Something or that like. So I was really sad. Okay, so I just click on that. It's negative emotions. So again, now what I can do, I can deploy. Again, I mentioned you in my slide deck, in Babbage, Curie, and Ada, you can't do chatting, right? So you can use in your Power Apps on Power Platform, you can use or Azure applications, you can use a completion methods, completion model only. Okay, and how you can use it? I just click on the view, I call an endpoint, I'll click on my endpoint, and then I can use in my Power Automate, or I can use in my Logic apps in Azure. So what Microsoft had done amazing job is that rather than having the entire machine learning logic, right? You think as an API, just copy this API and use in Power Automate or use in Azure Logic apps, and then it will work for you. That easy. So all the hard work, all the GPUs, everything they have done for you. So that is something which is amazing, I will say. Okay. Okay. That is a one demo I want to share with you. Any questions you have? So I can just take a small pause because it's something new for many people. So have you? Okay, guys. So I will wait for. I won't wait for a question. I just go for the next topic, which is security. All right. So let's see. The security is key. Is again security is an open AI we can do, but just want to let you know that security is a very generic and very time consuming effort if you're not done properly, right? So I have worked with many users, many vendors, and also with the large organizations. They don't know how to secure any application. Now here, what we want to do that a use case, why the use case? I'm a large financial sector. I have a lot of data. I have fine-tuned model, which is very all the banks, customers. We think about maybe 1 million customers, and all the data, all their credit note, everything is there, right? I want to secure it. I want to everyone can see that data. So how we can use it? That is a use case we want to restrict that only specific people in that organization can do. So we have controls for that. The controls are that we can use a power, sorry, not power platform. I can use Azure controls and then and see what we can do, right? And then same controls can be applied to Azure OpenAI. So in general, that your security controls is just not for OpenAI. It can be used by any other Azure services. Okay. Now, how we can do it? There are a couple of ways we can do it. First, using the network security. Okay, so I'm not going to networking in general, but talking about how we can use it in Azure OpenAI, right? So network security, we have a lot of certifications for that. Again, I'm not going to that. Just want to show how we can use it. Second option is using the your Entra ID and the Azure ID you have, right? So example, I have a service account I'm using for my banking, right? So I want to use that service account to protect my login, right? So two different ways. Today in this session, I will just talk about network security, but I give some literature, some knowledge how you can use it. Okay. Now, in this particular example, we are giving OpenAI services, right, to only specific networks, right? Think about the banking sector. I don't want to everyone in the world to access my Azure. Okay. Uh, Typically, we have to avoid denied the for the public network. So I mean, all the banking employees they can access. Obviously, they can't access the all the things, but everyone in that organization. Think about a very large bank, SBI or ICICI Bank. They have lot of things, but they want to secure it that only specific users only they can access, not all the users inside that particular bank. Think about that particular logic. Okay. Now, what will we do? We use something called as a private IP to protect, and we also something called as a private endpoint. So that we have more security. Only specific users who have access, only they can access. Not all the people who are working in the bank. Maybe management want to see, but not the maybe the people who are don't need to access that particular part. So this is the most secure way to access the data. Again, something we will see. The second way we can do, which I mentioned to you, we can use something called as API, right? The problem with APIs is that anyone can use that API and it's not very secure. I have one customer and their API was compromised because one of the disgruntled employee left the company and they used that API. This is real in real. I'm talking about one of the very large legal company where I worked there, and they told that they have to compromise. So that's why having that API access is not a very good way, which I've seen in many use cases, right? Because anyone can access. So that use case I'm talking about is that company that user left the company, although his AD was still there because he's in probation. He was leaving the company. So he ensured that on the last day, he can just down that particular API. So all the people, the bank will be have a bad name. I'm not giving the company names, but something in the in the use case perspective. So please ensure that when you do these things, ensure that you are having using Entra ID, Azure ID, and don't use the user ID, use the service account. Always use service account. I have another use case where one of the my user I have a lot has a person left, but there are a lot of Azure objects but there, and it's become very messy because around 50 100 users left the company, and then they still have access but they can't. So again, always use service account. Don't use a user account. I mean, from safety perspective here. Okay. Again, please don't use API key, right? Use the service account. Okay, now what we do next, the second demo is about how we can secure just Azure OpenAI services. So let's see how it works, and then we that. So my second demo is about how to protect the service. Okay, so where I was the last demo was here. The second demo is about the security. Okay. Now, what we can do that we can use something called as a Azure VM and use that VM to restrict the permissions that only specific IP address can work. So this is a very good way to do it. Now, what I can do is I can just click on a new VM. So this is my VM. Okay. Again, VM takes some time and cost also to ensure that you are if you are working in a Azure, the costing of the VM could be high price, depends on the what workload you did it. Uh, Delete the workload later on, right? So first step is to I create a VM. Okay, so how I can create VM? You know that how to create VM. So I create a virtual machines. Okay, so these are the virtual machines. So I have a couple of VMs here, right? So I have one, two, three. There are three demos. I have things. So I can. So I've already created because VM also takes some time. So rather than waste time, I just want to show you right here. So in my VM, what I have is a couple of things. Is right? So if I let's create a new VM. I want to show you. Let's create a new Azure VM. And I will just use my resource group. I will create something called as a Aroh OpenAI VM SGP. And again, because in my workload, my Azure services is I want to check where my services is. I click on here. I click on OpenAI and it's East US. So create the VM in that region. Otherwise, we have some complications, right? So I will use it in the again the same thing. I can define default options, and then I can click standard and all. There are different ways to secure the VM, but for us, just we use a standard way. I will use a different image, and I use a basic, very basic one just for demos. So you see the very low demo I have. Machines is very low grade. CPUs are very minimal, and then I can just enter my login details. So I can Azure OpenAI, number two, and I entered the password, right? I put the password here, and then okay, doesn't match. Okay, this is okay. So I just enter the login details here. Okay, and then I will just click on that next. So this is the way you can just create a VM. Nothing. So the only thing I want to just share that always use the same VM because you have created a VM into East US, use that region only. Okay, that's one thing we do. Next, once I go to my VM, I'll just go to my VM and just click on that. So that my VM is already there. I just click on here. Okay. Okay, and what I can see here that my VM is already created. Uh, I open the instance. You can see that it says the same VM. I'm using the lowest grade. And the main point is to the secure the virtual network. So my point is that I want to secure it in my networking part, right? Right. So I click on the thing. So let me go to my Azure OpenAI. So my VM is done. No issue with this. What I want to do next is I want to go to my Azure services, right? My Azure services, right? Again into East US. And I will do a networking thing, right? So I want to do network that only specific people can do it. So I click on networking tab. Okay, and then typically what happens, right, is all the users can access. So in my examples, I don't want to do it. Okay, so I click new endpoint. Okay, this I already did it, so I create a new endpoint. So first step one, we created a VM with the same region. Second thing, we configured in the Azure OpenAI service in the networking tab. Oh, by default is always enabled for all the networks, but because of our use case, only specific users can see. So I click on the new endpoint. Okay, now in this scenario, what I want to do, I just click on the endpoint. I use my own resource group, and I will just use the endpoint. So I just create Azure endpoint part 2 because I already have it. And here I can use the same regions because it's my same point, so I can use where is my East US? Uh, yeah, East US. Okay, I click on the resources. Okay, now you see that I will look for the account. So account means which particular network I'm connected to, right? So I'm using the default things, right? I'm using this my default account. I click on my networking, which is very crucial for me, right? And then I saw, okay, this is my VM, which I did read it. I did configuration to default network. You can create a new network also, but there's a demo, I can use it. And then one thing which I want to call out is that you can add a private IP also. Um, very large organizations, they always have private IP. You can use dynamic also, but highly likely always use a private IP so that only specific users can access. And you can also default have a security groups so that only specific users groups are they can access. Okay. Now it says demo purposes, no issue with this. I click on the DNS, so it's only specific people can access. So that is our thing. And then this is my resource control, no issue. So I'm using a default method. Okay. And then tags. Now, a lot of people told me that, Aroh, you put too many things on the tags. I want to follow call out that whether you use Power Platform or use anything, always document it, what you have done. Right. So I always have a habit of documenting it. So I just click on this. This is my endpoint. I put private endpoint. Okay. And then yeah, networking, and then I put the name, what am I doing, what I'm doing. So anything you can do, but always put tags. Okay. It's very, I mean, as a Azure governance, I always put tag, and then click on the create. So what we have done so far, we have a new VM, and that VM we did a configuration, and then we also enabled our Azure OpenAI service to configure it only for the private endpoint. Okay, so why we use a private point is because only specific user can access, right? So that is something very good way to do it, right? So and that way I did, I'm already did it. So you can see that when I click on that, I click on networking part. Oh no, not the VM. Oh, where is my? Let's make a quick look at that. Yeah, this one. Networking. Right? So this is already approved. Now, this one also takes around 30 minutes and all because you are doing networking stuff. It may take 10 to 15 minutes, depends on that. So I already created so that we can see it. Okay. One thing which you've seen that even when you do it, right? Although you have private endpoint, but default is always all the networks. So the last step 3 is always, although you have private endpoint, but you also enable the disable your firewall as well. So when you done these things, which means you have secured done your Azure OpenAI service with the VM. You also configured the API and also disable the firewall. So in that way, what's happening is that you are doing very high security that your only private endpoints can access with separate IP addresses. So this is a one very easy way to do it. Okay, so this is my second demo. Azure OpenAI, so Entra ID is also possible, but now because I still have 9 minutes, I want to show you slightly more useful and more better use case. So I just want to show you the next use cases. Okay, and that is about the safety. Now, this is not about the response, it's a kind of responsible AI and also about content safety. So in this third demo, we talk about how the content can be safe. Right now, we have seen that there's so much things are in the web right these days, and this AI safety actually checks couple of things. What it checks, something, a couple of options, whether it's a hateful content, right? Hate speech, a violent things, a sexual content, or self-harm, suicide, or something on that, right? So this obviously, and you know that when you have these is very quite common in many places, that the hate speech is violent, riots, sexual content, and the self harm is so common, right? So how the Azure AI actually helps in that? So we can use an REST API again. Everything is using REST API, and we can use that API to manage it. Okay, and can be integrated with your web app. We can use with Power Platform or with the Azure services. Okay, and it works in the real time. So anyone who is putting a content into Twitter or sorry, X, and into Facebook or LinkedIn, immediately the data is putting something very bad data or something. It will won't work for you. I mean that the thing. So I will show you, and I give you an example because I was putting the uh, um, I want to hate this person, and I put in ChatGPT. It didn't work because in ChatGPT also, if it detects something, it shows that this is a you need some mental help on that. I was so surprised that even ChatGPT default they have that kind of capabilities. So Azure is slightly more stronger in that particular part. Okay, so we see about social networks. I talk about social network, user ratings. A bit, a lot of you user puts content on the hotels, about restaurants. So maybe they can put a bad feedback, but the restaurant was very good. So we can check that one. Online marketplace, Amazon, a lot of Flipkart. Gaming is very common. Education, chats, forum. So I mean, content can be from all the places. So here we can control it. So what we can do is we can minimize that thing using an API services that includes hate, violence, sexual, and self-harm. Okay. Now, why previously we didn't have this facilities? Because previously everything was a manual process, right? And it's very slow. We can't have if it's very large content, we can't do it. It's very costly. We had to manage a lot of human resource for that, and this very error prone. So that is a use of the Azure AI content safety, because everything can be automated using REST API. Okay, and in our demo, we talk about using a text, and we'll give you 4 categories. I talk about those categories: self harm and those sexual content and all, and we can use this one in any web app. Okay. Now, one thing I want to share with you is that here, um, unlike your OpenAI services, it has a free tier. Okay, you can have a text messages, or you can do images, and the pricing is already I put in thing, so you can see the pricing as well. Is you can go for testing, you can use the free one. Okay, and then we just see the how we can use it. Now, I will use something called as Postman in your Power Apps. You can use in Azure. So because Postman is very easy to do a testing there, right? Now let's go and do the safety part right now. Okay, now first we have to create an instance. The what instance? We have to a content safety instance. So I click on something called as um, content safety. Content safety right here. So first step, I have to create a new instance. And I can create any place. Doesn't require OpenAI services, which is only specific regions. Here I can create any places. I can create in Australia, or I think because from India perspective, it is not much content. So nearest will be maybe Australia. I can put a name also. I can put a name that this is my content and is for content safety. Okay, I need a space on that. HP2, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, and put the pricing tier. Now, because I already have created a free tier, the second will be always a paid one. Okay, so I don't want to pay myself, so I just go for the already instance, but it's free. You see, here, instance is free one. And this one take less than 5 minutes to do it. It is just not OpenAI, but it's very huge instance to do it. But content save it is very fast to do it. Okay. Now, once I have done, I click on this instance. I can see it's a free. This is by my API, and I can call a REST API because I have an endpoint. This is my endpoint, and this is my key. I can just use my key and it will work for me. No issue with this. Anyways, I will delete this instance later on. Just for demo purposes. Okay. Now I want to use it. How I can use it? It's very simple that I can use a Postman, and in my Postman, I have you see endpoint. I just use my endpoint in Postman. Now people know about Postman, so I know that it's very easy to use it. So I just create a new instance. Okay, and this is my endpoint, which I showed you. This is my endpoint. I just copy the endpoint in here and I put in post because I want to post it out. Okay, and then I will use a text. Okay, I use this text. So how we got this thing? It is I put in my GitHub so you can see it. So in my I have to use a text content and analyze what content. It could be any content. So I just use this one, and this is the API. This is the parameter. Okay, so this is something I will do. Second thing is my headers. In my headers also, I have to enter something. So in my header, I have a content which is called is yeah, this is my header. Okay, and this is where I will show you in my I put in my GitHub so you can just access. And okay, some issue with this invalid characters. Oh, sorry. Okay, and then I have my key, right? The my key is here. I just copied this key. Okay, yeah. So what I did, I just have my URL. I just used the API version. Then second step, I did the my Azure subscription ID, and then the key which I got from the license with my eight things. And then in the body, I have to put something in my body. So what I will do, I click on text, put in JSON. Okay, and then have some text. I have some text. So I have text. Is it like sky is blue? Okay, I click on this. You see, this is very, very clear, right? And this is, you see the content is doesn't give any hate message. So we have six scores. Severity. So is zero is which means it's a normal content. If you put hate speech or something, it will give some content on that process specific, right? Now, yeah. Now I want to show you what happened to me. I was getting I want kill this person. Okay, you see content policy, and it can't remove it be removed. So Kunj, I still have some few minutes. I can have some time as well.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay, thank you. So you see that when I can't kill the person, it's shaded. Even ChatGPT has to this thing, so it will remove. You need some handle help and all. So you see, so I mean, if you have that content, right, it's very important to take note that it is already baked into ChatGPT and also in Azure OpenAI, so which I showed you there. Okay. Now, second thing I want to have I want to kill this person inside in my this text. Okay, I click on this. Now we're using Azure OpenAI. Click on that. You see violence. So maximum is 6. So it is I want to kill person. It's pretty high rating there. So whether using Power Apps, Power Automate, or anywhere, it will show that okay, this person is a bad content there. Right. So this is a way you can use your text analysis for the safety part, content safety. So Microsoft is very, very strict on that particular part. Okay. Now I can do the similar stuff for the images. right? So images, what I can do is I can have I have to use some tool which is called as a base64 converter, and that converter I can upload the content, right? So let's do it again. And this I will just copy the endpoint. Okay. I put endpoint user, and then I just copy the endpoint here. So rather than text, I put images. Okay. We can't done. We have to do something else. We have to put headers. So I put the headers. I put the headers as well now. Where is my header? This is my header information and the key, which I got from my, yeah, from here. I can maybe use this key. Okay. And then body. All right. Now body, I have to uh, click on draw and JSON content. And I have to put some the image content, right? Now, what I want to do is that in here, I have to use something called as a base64 content. Okay. So how you can get base64? You have to upload an image either from SharePoint or from Azure or locally. So what I can do, I have some a sample that I have a site. I upload that image. Now you go click on that. I have some sample images. What happened, man? Okay, take some time. So I have something called as nature. Okay, so this is the next, and then I have to put base 64. I copied this base 64 and I put inside my that image. That is a very huge content, so images work like that. I think same thing for SharePoint and Power Apps as well. Okay, and then I just want to test. So three things. I just add the URL. I had the API key. I put the body constructed so that I can test. Oh, resource code found. Okay, let me check on that. Something like this. Uh, yeah. So I have one image which is bullets. So that's why this one is for bullet. Let me check on that bullet content. So use bullet. You see bullets, right? I copy the image. It will show me that this content is a violence part, right? So this is the way you can hoof the text analysis and image analysis using base64, and you can have a proper idea how it works there. Okay, so that is my third for the fourth demo, and I want to give you something important about learnings, how to do the learn new stuff. Okay, the first thing, what is next is to attend the webinars like you attended today. So clap for the people who have attended this webinar. Go for a lot of MVP sessions, community leaders. They have lot of content there. Attend these webinars. I think content from them is really, really good. Second thing, lot of amazing content from Microsoft and community leaders. So you learn from them. And online trainings, a lot of amazing trainings you can attend. So first thing, attend this content. Second thing, some courses you can attend. I want to give some links you as well. So we have the LinkedIn, which is a paid thing, I think. Yeah, third, I don't know, but this is very good content. I mean, the how to career essentials using generative AI by Microsoft and LinkedIn. LinkedIn, so it's pretty good. Um, I have a big fan of Coursera. So there's one guy, his name is Andrew Ng. He's a very amazing guy. I worked in Google and has a lot of courses he done. So it's a free course, absolutely free courses. But if you want to share it, then you have to pay $49. I paid $49 and I want to show to people that how good content is. And so he's a AI guru. If you know about AI and you don't know Andrew, About AI. He's a godfather of AI, right? So generative AI for everyone and AI for everyone. So these amazing courses we did. I think only 2 months these courses happened. So I want to share you how the content are. Then we can just take a break on that. Okay, so this one is I have put into link in the into chats as well. You can just have a look on that. Okay, this is from LinkedIn. It's a very good content there. So you can see that generative AI. You see, I completed last month, so it's pretty good. What is generative AI? How you can use it? How you can use with Copilot? What Copilot works? How you can use it? Ethics. That is something very important. I mentioned about safety part, right? So very important to take note of that. And what is AI? So go for that and attend these courses. Now this is lending is just I think $39 something. Not everyone can access. There's no issue. I have some links for that as well. AI for everyone. This is from Andrew Ng. Is a best guy. Again, best guy in AI, right? I learned from him from many courses I attended previously as well. Now Microsoft is open in a lot of things. So if you want to learn from him, is very good content. It's the way he speaks, way he explains. Nobody can will teach you. I'm not exaggerating it. Telling you, I have seen it and I did a couple of courses. So these courses are awesome, really good one. So these are the one I shared with you. You can just have a look on that. Okay, and yes, Manisha, I'll be sharing all the things. Okay, let me share my LinkedIn as well. So where is my LinkedIn? My LinkedIn is here. Comment. Yeah, this is my LinkedIn, and you can, if you have, I will put all the things inside my LinkedIn as well. After this message, this thing. But you, if you want to have anything, you can just message me. I don't want to have promoting myself, but I just want to share that I want to share. Everyone should be have knowledge on that particular part. So access this content because I'm sharing this content just in evening and then I will show you that how things are. So connect with me and how things work there. So and the second content which I'm highly likely recommend is this one, generative AI. It happened only last month. He released last month, and very good content. So you go for this. I have this one. You see this one. And there's so many other content. It is so I give you the best content available right now, and then you can access it. So I mean, I work for this content a lot. So I fine tune. I don't want to give the content which is really bad or you can't, is it wasteful of time. These are the best way you can connect and use it. So Coursera content is best way, is free, again, free for you and they can use it. If you want to share it and LinkedIn is okay, but you get the knowledge on that. Okay. So Kunj, I took more time, but if anyone had questions, I give 5 minutes for the questions and you can just ask me anything, right? Which I can